Welcome to another episode of My Crypto World. Today I want to talk to you about a couple things and give you some updates and share a couple Bigfoot stories with you. I recently got in two Bigfoot stories and one sighting report. The Bigfoot stories, they're what we would call hand-me-down stories. That's the stories that are told to you by maybe your father, your grandfather, or mother, or maybe a close friend, or something that's been passed down from a previous generation to you. This story, one of the stories I'm going to share with you today, happened in my local area. We got a place here called Browners Creek, Kentucky. Some of you're probably familiar with it, or maybe heard me talk about it before. Back in the 1940s, this is the story now that I was told. Back in the 1940s, the coal mine were really booming, and everybody around here that had a job, just about it worked in the coal mines. So this woman got up real early one morning to fix her husband breakfast because he had to go into the mine, go work at the mine real early, and then work all day, work long shifts back then too as well. Well, anyways, this lady had got up real early one morning, about the break of dawn, to go out and get some water. Back then we didn't have city water, and most people didn't have wells. Not that come into the house. You had to go out and hand pump it to get water to cook with and bathe with, and just about everything. Had to do everything that way. Well, anyway, she went out real early one morning, just at the break of dawn, and she was pumping the water. Got through pumping the water, and she heard something. And she looked, and at her apple tree was this huge Bigfoot. That it was as big as the apple tree, and it was taking apples off the tree. And even though she said she didn't get to see its face, but all she could see was as large as the tree. It was covered in hair, and of course, back in the 40s, the term Bigfoot really wasn't around, so they probably didn't really know what it was, at the time. So she runs into the house, and of course, she's frightened to death. But that's an old hand-me-down story that passed around from one generation to the next, and it comes from a real good source. The other story, it's going to be on our website, and the actual sighting took place. Let me see. I think I won't tell you wrong. I've got it wrote down here. It happened in Arkansas. The actual sighting happened in 2017 in Arkansas. I'm going to share these on our website later today or tomorrow. But that shows you back. I know here in my general area, I was able to trace sightings back until the 40s here. The man has passed away since then. It was in his story was in my first book, Bigfoot Witness, if I ain't mistaken. It was in that book. And he had got off the bus. There used to be, like I say, back then the coal mine were really big, and we used to have a bus that would run because we had a movie theater at the head of the holler, and we had there's all kinds of shops and roller skating rink and all that kind of stuff. Of course, that's all been going for years now. But used to, they would had a little bus that run, and he got off the bus, and he had to walk across the swinging bridge to get to his house. And as he was walking across the swinging bridge, he seen these two glowing eyes. And how I got to come about this story, I'd heard him tell it in church a little bit. He'd mentioned about seeing something in church when he was at the end of his church service. He gave in his testimony, and he was talking about being frightful, before he got saved, how things were frightful to him, and how he talked about seeing these red eyes. Well, I'd got a chance to interview him, I don't know, a couple years before he passed away, and he was telling me that when he was going across that swinging bridge, he could see those red eyes down into the creek. And as he crossed the swinging bridge, the thing started chasing him, and it chased him all the way to his door. And I asked him specifically, I said, "What do you think it was? Something running on all fours like a dog or a wolf or something like that?" He said, "Oh no," said, "it was running on 2 feet. Whatever it was standing up. It was running on 2 feet." And he ran all the way to the door, and just luckily the door wasn't locked and he was able to get in. He told me, he said, I don't know what I would have done if the door had been locked. He said, I don't know what I would have done. And this was in the 40s. I traced it back here, right, well, this was it's within a quarter mile of where I live right now. And we've had Bigfoot sightings here sporadically for years. Back in 2013, we had a kind of a rash of sightings around here. Actually, another one right here below my house by my neighbor. But that goes to show you that these things have been around here since the 40s. But of course, back then, well, probably before that, but back in the 40s, 50s, they didn't know what they were. They probably referred to them, if anything, as a werewolf, because the term Bigfoot wasn't coined until later on, of course. But that's kind of interesting that on the other side of the mountain, if you go across the mountain where I'm at, is actually the Browns Creek area, and there's still activity in certain areas over there. If you go up to the Harlan County part, which you can go through Browners Creek and up to the Harlan County part where the lake is. There's activity up there around the lake in several different places. That's my new film, which I didn't want to get to it this quick, but my new film I released, there's a witness in it that talks about a sighting he had up around the lake. But that's those rest of those stories and the sighting. I'm going to try to get it on the website today or tomorrow. And now I want to talk about my film that just come out, Bigfoot: The Legend Is Real. So far, it's been doing real well on getting reviews. I encourage people to watch it because it's got some real good evidence in it, video evidence. We've got there's a lot of witnesses in it that you've never heard their story before. They've never told it before. Some hunters. We've got some reenactment scenes. We've got some old lost bones stories that from first-hand witnesses that have actually seen these large bones. I think the documentary turned out very well, and people seem to be liking it pretty good. It's been on Amazon for, I don't know, maybe a couple days, and it's got like 3 or 4 reviews already, all 5 stars, so we appreciate that. But there was a lot of people in this that helped take part in this film that made it turn out good. And the story that's in there from Michael Cook about his sighting up at Morton's Fork Lake. If you're at Morton's Fork and you drive down to the Bell County side, you actually have to go through Browners Creek, which is where this 1940s report comes from. And then if you come across the mountain, there's another 1940s report right here from my side of the mountain. But also, I'm going to try to keep this video kind of short. I want to give a shout out to Last Starfighter, his name is Jason. I won't give his last name. He is part of our Crypto Squad. And if you want to know more about what the Crypto Squad is, you can click the little join button and it tells you about that. But he's also been a supporter and a follower of ours for a long time. Got to know him through Facebook, and he's been a real good supporter of ours, so I want to give him a shout out today. He goes by Last Starfighter out here on YouTube, but his name is Jason, and he's been a good guy, and he's really been very supportive of us over the years. So we appreciate that. But I'll cut this video short today, and I thank you guys for watching. And if you can, go to Amazon or go to realhouse.org and watch our new movie. I think it's really good. I think it's got some information in it that's helpful for people who want to know more about Bigfoot, but also there's some real good evidence in it that myself and Tony Pelosi find while we're out in the field. The movie is it's got field research, we've got witness interviews, we've got evidence captured from other researchers. There's a lot of good information in it and a lot of good evidence, and it's an hour and 21 minutes long, so pretty good bang for the bucks when it comes to that. But if you can, support us in that, and I appreciate you guys watching our YouTube channel, and you guys have a good day, and I'll see you next time.